Hello, my name is Nicholas Bonifiglio. This is my Lyra level that I designed using some assets that I had from the marketplace from various sales or permanently free collection. So putting together just kind of a unique level using some of that stuff and kind of setting a scene. Start off with my environment. It's kind of meant to be a sci-fi type jungle abandoned outpost. Was kind of the feel I wanted to go for it. Hence why you have an Earth-like planet in the background with a moon rotating around like this planet that's kind of looks like our moon. We still have a sun. You've got some distant planets back there with some moons and large asteroids. Just kind of a lush green environment. Uh, Not too, it's pretty heavily vegetated, with a prominent feature being this small river that kind of runs through there, coming off from the waterfall. The static meshes were part of like a sci-fi pack that I had, and I basically just it was a modular asset, so it's just walls and floors and stuff like that, um, along with some other like static meshes that I had found and added some lighting to, and then made some of these doors. These are like end caps and weren't meant to be doors, but kind of pieced them together and made them doors. Some features, a lot of the interior design based on time right now and kind of figure out the botting before I fully polish out the interior. We have some security panels that are found throughout the game that are only activated to keep performance up when the player is around that security camera system. That can basically give you information throughout the map based on these cameras here. Um, and they're kind of throughout the whole level. You just got, as far as interior of the buildings, you've got these monitor stations to give you an idea of where your enemy might be at. And that was kind of the idea for more of like a competitive gameplay on a little bit larger map, with like a 4v4 without bots, like an actual 4v4 with players. Um, that it would add kind of some information to kind of aid them, and especially on key locations like some of the higher end rifles and the rocket launcher and stuff like that. As far as player spawns, I have it kind of split up right now. I've been trying to work with these bots, but they are very persistent on going to one location. I've changed it from control point to elimination because it fits that style a little bit better. It was designed with control point in mind, but the way the level plays out, it could be both, but personally I like it as far as testing um, for elimination right now, just because the bot behavior does not work very well with control point. They have one objective, and that's go to the control point and back. They don't explore. They can't utilize a lot of the features like these pads and stuff. So I have two player spawns, and this is the one of the med buildings. So there's a med building here, and basically another like med style building over here. Um, and so you have two player spawns. Everything is set up to be kind of symmetrical, so there's a fair advantage across the board. Um, Same with some player spawns back here, uh, and in the corners as well. You get a player spawn. Uh, oh no, the corners for this side are in the building. And then you have one rooftop spawn. So you have a rooftop spawn here and a rooftop spawn here. The idea is those two players for the team kind of have that advantage of coming down, getting a rifle right away, or risking it and going across the enemy area and getting a grenade launcher, um, as well as kind of taking the high ground. So kind of add a little bit more dynamic spawns for when you kind of respawn and die. um, the trees the trees were kind of there to kind of add like this darkness to the level. I tried not to make it too dark by the river, um, so just did kind of like some light trees with some boulders and stuff for cover. This bridge is the main focal point. Um, it is the only footpath across this river. Other than that, you have these jump pads on the sides. Then you have the main corridor that goes across, that you could take all the way across and go to this side. And then on this side, you have a jump pad set up across this side. So when we hover over it, um, the big feeling I wanted was kind of to be able to go, if I'm on this side, I want to be able to go across. Maybe I can enter this building, come through here. I can use this corridor, shoot from the middle on these 2 points, um, and just kind of be very flowing. I'm never hitting a point where I can't get out or can't go somewhere. Um, and kind of this, figure eight with the buildings is really what I wanted. And then the whole level you can circle around and move freely. And then mid is kind of that choke point slash like main lane that you'd find a lot of action in, especially with the bots. They love this bridge because they can't use these teleporters across, so they focus a lot on this bridge. They don't really take the pathing. It's available to them, but they don't want to take the pathing of the stairs. So that's kind of a choke point with using AI. With actual 4v4 players or even 8v8 on this map, it would play a lot differently than its current state with just AI and one player. Um, and there's only one heavy spawn, and that's the rocket launcher here at mid on the focal point. It's very powerful, and it shoots quite fast, does a lot of damage, so it needs to be in the highest risk area. And then in the corners, you got those grenade launchers. There's 2 of those on the map. It's got 6 assault rifles, 3 heavy health spawns, and then 5 small health spawns with 2 sniper rifles, also in mid, but in the corridor, so a little bit safer. So if you're able to snag one of these, you're then able to kind of snipe from the windows or through these openings, or move back to a kind of rooftop back here and be able to begin sniping as well. As far as inside these buildings, the biggest thing they have going is you've got your teleporters, and these will take you to the building right here. So this will bring you to the corridor. So if you wanted to go into a small building, get to a corridor, maybe do some shooting from over here if you saw an angle from that small building, or if you want to maneuver on the enemy, you can come out this way. Um, and so that's kind of the idea with that. Um, so that's kind of my layout and my thought process. I started with a block out. My block out was very, very rudimentary. It was not anything fancy, just with my initial idea that I had. Uh, oh, I remember I had to get rid of that. Um, and so with the block out, I just had literally four cubes for the corners, the small buildings. I originally planned to have a big skyrise tower here with one floor open, and that was kind of to aid with some long-range gameplay that people like, and you would use a teleporter to get to that floor, and it kind of gave you an overview of the area to kind of provide support for your team. Um, but kind of decided against that. There's already enough places to lane from inside of these buildings that I've placed here with their open balconies, and not having the closing doors here kind of leaves them free to use for shooting. The risk is with this staircase here, it is need to be a little more conscious. I didn't want you to be able to just kind of go deep within the room and shoot, so I decided to put a staircase right here instead of the other side. And then just kind of starting to give it a feel of kind of what the setting would be like with some of the setup in here, couches and kitchens and whatnot. These corner buildings will eventually become full-blown medical bays, and these will be the office and living quarter buildings, with one floor being like a security floor, which would be the first floor. And yeah, so that's kind of the thought process behind this level. Went through a lot of iterations, ended up trimming down a lot. Performance was a big thing that I fought for with as much vegetation being cold all at once. Um, I just wanted to, if you were on top of this building, you need to be able to look out and kind of see exactly what the environment is, and it not just go into nothing. So I feel like the treetops kind of give you that. You've got some good background to go in there. I'd like to add more static mesh background, but time is of the essence, and this was done in about 2.5 weeks to get this all packaged. So I'll show you some gameplay. You'll get to see how good the bots are and how bad they are in their ways, and get a feel for how the level plays out. Oh, looks like I got a rooftop spawn. So the big key here, oh, it's still loading. With the rifle, you can hit G, and I've got it to where when you hit G, it'll drop all your weapons. So if I don't want a pistol, and say I want to go for the grenade launcher, and come back and get a rifle, and we've got a lot of enemies down there, and so the grenades kind of go out and explode, get some kills. R to reload. Got this guy. He's kind of stuck with pathing. So the bots kind of have struggle with some of this pathing that I need to work out. Just don't have the logic to jump down, and putting stairs there doesn't really make sense. And I'm getting sniped like crazy. So that'll be something to adjust. Maybe I can push him off. Oh. Try and get a sniper rifle so you can kind of feed through here. Grenade. Get him. Some health. Got a sniper. This other end. Very beginner sniper rifle. Oh. Get a shot in the back. Ah, had really good aim. And we're getting stomped. And I think partially we have two guys stuck on the roof right now. And then you've got free access to that mid through this way. It'll pull you right in. Help while we're there. God, they're so fast. Best angle right here. God, they don't stop moving. He's got the rocket launcher. Oh! Yeah, they don't even need sniper rifles. They're pretty good at sniping with the pistol themselves. I hate giving them good weapons. Literally aimbots. So fast. Probably should turn their speed down for the bots, but so yeah, so you got the security station. As far as lighting, this was originally made for night showcase. So still working on how to get some lighting for the cameras and adjusting their exposure. That's been fighting me a lot. I'm not really good at lighting yet, but I'm getting there. I think it's this roof. Oh, that should get him. Oh. Okay, so that's kind of how the game plays out with bots. It still plays really well. The biggest thing, the challenge I have right now is the coding for them. For some reason, 50% of the time they can fire the rocket launcher, so it's kind of figuring out what exactly is stopping them. And this is kind of a big problem right now. So we'll probably put them back on the floor because they do struggle with some of their pathing. Maybe put them inside the building. I'm just trying to break up the spawn points right now because they're really big on clustering, which I'm not a fan of. But other than that, that kind of really wraps it up. As far as the player bounds, I've just got blocking volumes in right now. Ideally, I'd like to get to the point where I have kind of a fence type structure that I need to model out that will kind of surround the area. And I have some like wildlife, and I'd like to put some random wildlife just outside the fence structure. I don't want you to feel boxed in and just hit an invisible wall. There needs to be something visible doing that. And then kind of have it dead end with the water, so it looks like we're in the water, and maybe have some like little boats or something like that sitting in the water, kind of floating there would be nice. And that's kind of the future of where I see this project going. Where's that other bot spawn? Right here. Move it kind of right there. And kind of back to where I originally had them spread out. And so some other future things I'm still kind of working is the water. So the water, I'm not running any kind of post-process underneath or running like a really deep river in here. And so because there's no swimming ability or anything like that, the water just is death right now. There's a kill volume in here. And I've got these signs, and I think the next best thing is when I figure out that fencing is to add some fencing along the river with a breakpoint, because I want you to be able to jump from here to this rock. Your jump cools down, and then you can jump across if you don't want to use those launchers. And so the signs are kind of the temporary solution until I figure out a good way, maybe adding some lighting in the water to make it look like this green glowing water or something like that. And then along with the fencing with the breaks to the rocks, and that should kind of keep people from forgetting, this big danger, do not touch signs that I have spread out. I'll probably put those on the fence as well. And the big thing with the rocks is an alternate point to move across, but as well as if you hit this jump pad and for some reason it scuffs your jump, or you mess it up and don't land here, you can still land on the rock and then go across, so you're not just totally screwed and going right into death with that. as far as all the weapons placements, I've had really good feedback on that. The sniper is the biggest one that needs a lot of help, but it was kind of a test weapon just to see if it would feel good on this map, and it really does, especially back from these back buildings. Um, the problem is those bots use the pistols like they're sniper rifles, so probably changing some damage fall off and stuff like that will help it feel a little bit better and make testing a little bit better because they're too good right now. Shooting wings off of flies, basically. So, yeah, this is a lot of unexplored area in here that doesn't get used a lot. So I'd like to get it to that point of where it's more utilized with the cover. I imagine some decent battles happening down these corridors, fighting for the actual sniper rifles, not just snatching and grabbing them as free weapons. Same with these, should be dangerous. Um, which it is now. It's fairly dangerous moving across to these big health pots. Generally get shot at quite a bit. But yeah, that's kind of where I wrap it up. The biggest thing was just trying to get a circular motion around the map, and then figuring out a way to be able to kind of figure eight through the areas and maneuver around these buildings, and then having these two kind of small static buildings, one with that teleporter to maneuver, and then the other one with the actual weapons drop that's at that location, and then give some good laning abilities down mid, and then off of these corridors and these big buildings in the back, being able to lane down the sides or use some of the shadows and kind of darkness in here. If you're able to get a rifle or something like that, you have some of these good cover to kind of aid in some lanes down the sides for the flanks. So um, that's going to wrap up this video of my Lyra level. There's going to be a lot of future enhancements as far as finishing up kind of the set dressing behind it, and getting some better implementation on my AI is really it off the base Lyra AI. Just trying to improve them a little bit more. Um, I have a couple more weapons I want to add. Been playing around with some of those and some other projects and getting them set up, and then kind of tuning some of their pathing and stuff like that. Potentially could see a smaller two-lane footbridge uh, that could replace these launch pads out here, just because if you do have to play with bots to autofill a lobby, I don't want them focusing just on mid, so two small footpaths on the flanks would fix that rather easily, but I feel like it might detract. I'm not quite sure yet how that's going to work out, but that's something I've been exploring um, as far as getting this design down to feel really kind of free movement to get around. So thank you for watching and taking your time out of your day, and I'll catch you next time.